Hello, my sexy and beautiful people of the internet. My name is Diego, also known as the Chilean Ruto Gamer, and welcome officially to the official show here on the Chilean Random channel number 2. This is the RanDUMBizer, which is basically a variation or an alternate version to the Retros Randomizer show that was basically back then in Chilean Ruto Gamer 2. Well, that show will continue actually, but this one is a bit more general, a bit different also from the classic randomizer. Remember back then I used to do the randomizers using the wheeldecide.com basically system, which is basically a roulette, a wheel. But that wheel, these days, I've been using it for the Roulette of Sadness show, which is also a randomizer, but a different one, with a different game picking system, basically. So this RanDUMBizer, as I called it, of course, I named it like that in honor to the channel's name, basically, is going to be super random, literally. I mean, anything can go here, and there is hundreds and hundreds of games to choose from. How so? Here's the thing, guys. As you can see, I have listed here in this random thing picker, which is basically a text randomizer, which is what I'm going to be using for the randomizer show from now on. Not the wheel. Again, the wheel is for the Roulette of Sadness. But yeah, for this randomizer series, as well as the one in Chilean Ruto Gamer 2, when I come back to it eventually, is going to be based on this text randomizer. So in here, I have listed 18 of all of my shows that I have done during these 10 years of YouTube career. Basically, 18 features, 18 series, whatever you want to call them. I have combined recent shows and, of course, classic shows that I'm no longer doing actually on regular basis, but I still include them in this bunch. So as you can see, there is Nintendo vs. Sega, there is arcade masterpieces, gaming in the 90s, gaming in the 80s, many of these shows that I haven't done in years, but I have included them all, basically, to make this as random as possible. So I have selected 18 out of my, let's say, 20 shows that I have done over the years. There are a couple of them that I didn't include, for example, the actual randomizer and Roulette of Sadness, which is basically another randomizer with other characteristics. So that's why I didn't include them in this bunch. But everything else, classic shows and the modern shows that I started in 2016, those are the ones that I declare and call them modern or newer shows. All of those are present in here. So we got those 18 categories or series or shows, plus free picks, as you can see. Well, actually, there is only one free pick in which I can choose the category. Actually, I should have added more free picks. And I will do it actually in later episodes. And also, this, you see this MISC 1, MISC 2, MISC 3. Well, that MISC stands for, or is basically miscellaneous category, so miscellaneous list. So each of the categories will have a different amount of games to choose from. Of course, now we're going to pick, for example, one of them, and according to the one we select, we're going to be putting another bunch, a list of games on this randomizer as well. Each of the shows, Nintendo vs. Sega, Arcades at Home, all of the ones that are normal shows with an actual name, will have 4 games to choose from. Only 4 games, okay? Once we select the game and we play the game, either doing a short gameplay with commentary or a full playthrough or whatever, once that game is done, that game will be replaced by another one within the same category. Pretty much what happens with the mini roulettes on Random Channel 1, for example, that I've been doing on Twitch starting this year. Basically, for example, if something from Chilean Sega Gamer gets selected, of course, we're going to put 4 games on here, on this. We're going to be selecting a game right away, by the way. I'm just explaining the rules real quick before actually proceeding. even though I am gonna re-explain things because that's how I do things. Sometimes I feel like I'm not being clear enough, so I do need to repeat myself in order to make it as clear as possible. Even though the more roles we do, the easier it will be for everybody to understand. But at first it will be a little bit confusing, just like the Roulette of Sadness was, for example, at the beginning. But by now, I'm sure everybody knows what the Roulette of Sadness is and how it works. So in here, we're going to be selecting one of the categories, and each category will have a certain amount of games. The regular shows will have 4 games, okay? And once the game is played, either through a short gameplay or a full playthrough, the game within the same category, the game that we played will be replaced on the list for another game within the same category, which will be properly informed and announced so everybody knows in advance what is the new game that is replacing the one we just played. In the case of the miscellaneous categories, those are basically a mixed bag of games that I've been, for example, watching on streams or YouTube, that I basically take notes of pretty much everything I watch on Twitch or YouTube or whatever. And trust me, I have been doing that for quite some time, so I have a huge list of games. Many of them I have played before, many of them I haven't. Many of them will be replaced, of course, but there's a huge amount of games on each of these miscellaneous categories. So yeah, the regular shows will have 4 games to pick from, but the miscellaneous categories, on the other hand, will have endless amount of games. I mean, so far I have only made 6 miscellaneous categories, in case you guys you already noticed by reading this bunch of this text. I have been working on 6 miscellaneous categories, and they're not even complete. I mean, some of them have 30 games, some others have 20 games, some others have 10 games. The amount varies between the categories, the miscellaneous categories. But the regular shows will always have 4 games to choose from. And on top of all that, apart from the regular shows plus the miscellaneous content, we also are going to include 2 extra randomizers. The MAME randomizer, which is a randomizer on its own within the MAME emulator that we have been using a few times on camera, and also the Shoot 'em Up randomizer, or shmup rando as I call it here in the text, that I have used for a couple of videos on this channel, as a matter of fact, which is an entirely different page in which you can choose. There is a database basically of almost every shoot 'em up there is for MAME, basically arcade, Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx, Super Nintendo, and a bunch of PC shoot 'em ups as well. So we can get pretty much anything at this point, either a classic show, a modern show, a miscellaneous category with a bunch of games in it, and it will be constantly updated, by the way. There will be at least 10 miscellaneous categories that I still have to work on, and each of the categories, or each of the miscellaneous categories, or miscellaneous basically mix, will keep updating and adding games every time, okay? So far I just put a few of them basically to have something to choose from, basically. At least 10 games on each. In some cases there are even more than that. I think miscellaneous one is the one that has the most amount of games. And, well, yeah, we have regular shows, old shows, newer shows, miscellaneous categories, mostly retro games, I have to say. And last but not least, additional randomizers, the MAME randomizer and the shmup randomizer. In case those get selected, of course, we're going to go to the respective randomizer to choose a game from that, basically that method, okay? And of course, I will be showing everything on camera, so everything is legit, transparent, and you will be able to see what game exactly we're going to be playing without tricks, okay? Okay, I've been talking for almost 10 minutes explaining the rules. That's a little bit too much, so let's get to select the first game that we're going to be doing for this RanDUMBizer, which, by the way, I think I mentioned at the beginning, it's the definite show for this random channel too. No more fillers. There will be stuff like random games and live streams, like the live version to this on Twitch, which will serve as a pre-show. but that's on the weekends. But as in the regular videos for the week, this is going to be on the whole year. I'm letting you know. So let's choose what game or what category first we are going to be dealing with as our first game. Retro replays. Okay, so I have a list here of replays, 4 games that I plan on replaying, and we're gonna do this right away. Only 4 games to choose from in this. So we got Charlie Ninja on arcade, Just Jackrabbit on PC, Bonk's Adventure on the Game Boy, and Puzzle Bubble on the Super Nintendo. So one of these 4 games will be played immediately. Let's find out which one. Charlie Ninja on arcade is actually a fun video game to play, and it's an awesome start, I have to say. So the first game that we're going to be doing on this new RanDUMBizer is going to be Charlie Ninja on arcade. Of course, when I finish that playthrough, I will let you know properly what game is going to replace Charlie Ninja on this category. So I hope you guys understand the rules of this thing. It's very simple. It's just pick a category and then pick a game within the category. As simple as that. And of course, we're going to do another reroll or another roll after we're done with this playthrough as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the Charlie Ninja playthrough.